The life sciences job market has been very vibrant this year. It was very busy even during the pandemic in 2020 and 2021, so I anticipate 2022 to be even busier. I'm seeing a lot of companies hiring niche skill sets that are not currently in Ireland, so there's more of a demand for talent mapping across Europe. I'm also seeing a lot of organisations looking for very strong technical backgrounds, but also leadership positions, so candidates that have either leadership potential or have direct management experience that can add value to different companies. So I expect it to be extremely busy. There's also more of a demand for retained services for executive hiring, and again that ties into the senior leadership positions. And also contracting has been very busy. I'm seeing a lot of organisations looking to fill positions urgently. So in turn, companies are looking for talent quickly and they're looking for solutions, and that brings a big demand for contracting and interim solutions. So for contractors, candidates within life sciences are even more open now to contracting. So that's been quite a busy space over the last 2 years, and I anticipate that will grow for 2022. So within the life sciences sector, salaries have increased over the last number of years, with a particular increase in senior end technical roles, and especially for roles that require strong people management as part of the skill set. For mid-level positions across the life sciences, there hasn't been too much of an increase. But again, the leadership positions and roles that require both the technical skill set and people management, candidates should expect to receive anywhere from 5 to 10% of an increase when they're moving jobs. Companies are also offering very competitive packages to attract these candidates, and that's down to scarcity of talent, but it's also down to trying to entice candidates away from their current organisations and to make the offer competitive. So for the best talent, usually they're talent that are not even active on the market. So hiring managers and organisations that are looking to attract these candidates need to set their stall out and make the offer as competitive as possible for the candidates. That's not just now the financial aspect of the offer, it's also from a cultural perspective, what can the company do for the person? Organisations now need to offer candidates strong packages in order to entice them away from their current company. So within life sciences, there's growth across all areas. Looking at 2020 and 2021, there was growth in every vertical within the life sciences sector. There's a particular demand at the moment for strong biologics and steriles or aseptic candidates. So candidates with this skill set across all different functions are very much in demand. I anticipate continued growth within quality, but also growth within regulatory affairs, clinical development and clinical operations positions, but also project management. With COVID, there's a new way of working now, so a lot of organisations are offering hybrid or 100% working opportunities for candidates. So that's bringing new positions into Ireland where candidates are happy to work from home, they might be living remotely, so there's more of a increase in positions in that general field. The challenges for employers within the life sciences sector this year, I think, will be lack of talent in general, and lack of skilled, niche, experienced professionals within life sciences. I also think another challenge is going to be interview processes. So for some employers, if they have a very long interview process and it's not streamlined, or they don't have a plan for hiring, they will lose talent because the market is quite competitive. So for those organisations that are really organised and know what their plan is and have their date set for when they want to interview, for when they want to move to offer, and for when they want the candidate in the role, those are the clients that are going to come out on top and hire and attract the best staff, just down to timing. Because for candidates, if they have to go through 5 or 6 rounds of interviews, it will impact their engagement. So companies need to make sure that their interview processes are streamlined. Another challenge this year will be post-pandemic and remote working, and what organisations are offering to their current staff, but also as part of their EVP, their value proposition. So it's important that clients across Ireland know what their stance is on remote working. If the candidate can work flexibly, that's great, and that's something that should be discussed from the outset, at the beginning of an interview, so the candidate understands what's expected of them. But also, if the position can be 100% remote, for example, within quality, if they're dealing with markets, if they're a CMO manager within quality and they're working with the States, they might be working to different timelines. So can it be a case that they can work 100% remote, or do they need to be in the office every single day? So that's something that's also a consideration. So a challenge would be for employers to make sure that they look at what's important for each position and define what the remote working policy will be for each of the roles, and discuss that with candidates to set themselves apart. Another challenge within life sciences is, and will continue to be, finding candidates that have the experience but also the leadership capabilities or the hands-on management, people management experience. So that's also going to be a challenge for 2022. Another challenge is definitely going to be companies and their retention of staff, but also counter offers. So it's important for employers to make sure that they're offering the best financial outcome to candidates, to ensure that they don't have any issues with counter offers, and that the candidate is happy with the offer that they receive. So it's important for an employer to be competitive when they do go to offer with the candidate that they decide to hire. The best advice that I could give employers for 2022 is probably the following. So to define your interview process from the beginning. So have a clear schedule or timeline for interviews, for drafting an offer together, and have an idea of when you'd like the candidate to start. It's important, if you're partnering with a recruitment agency, that you have those conversations from the beginning of the process, so that when the recruiter is discussing opportunities with potential talent, that they can outline to them what's to be expected for the process. Especially within life sciences candidates love clarity and they love information. So it's important for the recruiter and for the organisation to be able to have transparent conversations with them and let them know what's going to be expected. If the recruitment process is going to take 2 weeks, with a week then to draft an offer, it's a very powerful message saying that to a candidate up front, and it also eliminates some competition with other organisations that might be trying to attract the same talent. I know if I was a candidate myself within life sciences and I had an organisation that were telling me everything about the process and giving me a clear idea on timelines, I would definitely want to work with that organisation versus a company that it might be a little bit vague, or they might not have a plan in place. So I would definitely want to work for the organisation that has a clear idea for the recruitment process and for the hiring process itself. The second piece of advice that I would give to employers is feedback during the interview process is so important at every stage. So if you're partnering with a recruitment company, it's important that you're offering feedback to the consultant, but also the consultant might be chasing you for feedback. If you have, for example, 3 or 4 candidates in an interview process and 2 are very much of interest and the front runners, it's important as an employer to discuss that with the agency, so that the agency can then go back and discuss that with the candidate to maintain their interest, and also to let them know that they did a good job in the first round. Or if the feedback isn't 100%, is there anything else that you'd like to know about the candidate, or anything they can improve on for the next stage? Feedback, good or bad, is always so important to the candidate. It ensures that the candidate has a really positive experience with the employer, and it also, from a brand perspective, protects the employer's brand. If a candidate is not successful and they fell down in a certain area, it's important that you mindfully give that feedback to the agency, and then in turn they can feed that back to the candidate, so that the candidate will come away from the experience having a positive memory for your company. It could be the case that in a few years they might want to join again, so it is important that the candidate comes away feeling positive, irrespective of the ultimate outcome. The third piece of advice that I would give employers is don't use the candidate's current package, so salary and benefits, don't use that as a benchmark in what you're going to offer the candidate. It's important, if you're partnering with a recruitment consultant, that the consultant, if you're not sure where the salary should be pitched initially, it's important that the consultant guides you on market norms for the candidate and for their level of experience. If a candidate is shared with you and they might be receiving under market norms for their experience or what they can bring to the role, it's also important for the consultant to advise you that the candidate should be on X, so that if you do decide to go to offer with this candidate, that you're offering them something competitive. Ultimately, if you use their current salary as a benchmark, when you do go to offer, if it's not something that's competitive, or if the candidate has done their research, they'll know their value, and ultimately they'll either accept a counter offer from their current employer, which won't be in line or won't be competitive with the offer that you're giving them. So the best piece of advice that I can give job seekers this year would include the following. Number one, make sure you know why you're looking for a move, and make sure that your motivations are clear. If you are moving to a new role, make sure that the new position meets all of your expectations and is in line with why you were looking to move in the first place. The second piece of advice I would give job seekers or candidates this year within life sciences is make sure you set yourself apart during the interview process and make yourself stand out. It's important to prepare and don't underestimate the power of good interview prep. If you're partnering with a recruitment consultant, make sure you partner with somebody who you trust and somebody who can guide you and coach you through the interview process. You want to make sure that the interview prep itself is harder than the actual interview, so that when you go into the interview, you're fully prepared, you've covered every angle, and there's nothing that the company can put your way that you haven't covered or you haven't prepared. It's also important that you come across genuine and you come across motivated and genuinely interested in the company and the opportunity and the people that you're going to be working with. The third piece of advice that I would give candidates is think about, is this move realistic? And what I mean by that is think about the position in every aspect. So is this company the type of company I want to work for? Is this role something that I can confidently do? Are there enough learning and development opportunities in this position for me? Package, is the financial offer something that's competitive versus what I'm currently on? Is it in line with market norms? Is the benefits package attractive? But not just the financial aspects. Think also about the company culture, the team that you'll be joining. What are the long-term opportunities with this company?